anywhere from 46 to 81% of their time. So what your taxpayer dollars are going to, the vast majority is a nonviolent offense or unassigned time. Think about that. Where could that money be better allocated to? The truth of the matter is that police are acting as things that they are not experts in. They have to be people like mental health workers. They have to be people like mediators. They have to be social workers. They have to be first responders. These are all things that they are not educated in, that they're not trained in. They get less than 200 hours of training towards these things. When in reality, we could use those millions of dollars. MPD has upwards of $200 million going to the police force. St. Paul's not far behind with $100 million. We, in reality, could and should be using that huge police budget to fund the institutions that are equipped to handle those circumstances. People like Kiana, who has spent years training to be a mental health expert. Like first responders who dedicate years of their lives to mediating. That money is instead going to police who get hours of training. So when we call to defund the police, what we want to do is to continue to push our government to invest in the community with the people and the resources that actually serve them. And we should clap it up for that. That's what we're fighting for. That's what we're coming out and ready to bring weather for. And what we need to do is to continue to fight against this racist, biased, outdated, and ineffective system that currently exists. So with that being said, I have one request for you, and I promise it's not homework. I'd never do that to you. Remember this name, MPD_150. These are the people who pushed and fought for MPD to take that $7 to $8 million out and reallocate it to actionable sources that are going to serve the community. They have an Instagram page. You can Google them, but make sure that you're educated. Make sure that you're not reading headlines and not reading the articles. If you can't donate, circulate. If you can't circulate information, because mental health is important, make sure that at the very least you care. Power to the people, defund the police. Fuck 12.
Yeah. One more round of applause for Micah. That was beautiful. Good job. Good job. Our next speaker is Brandon. Everyone give him a round of applause.
Y'all can hear me? Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to these beautiful young black women for putting on this event. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys for asking me to speak. I appreciate it. Dog knows what's up. So every time we come out here and we fight for what we know is right, we are told, or people say that we're pushing this radical agenda. Right? And exactly, because to me, these things are not radical. Housing for all people, healthcare for all people, equal justice under the law, those are not radical ideas. Abolishing the police, defunding the police, those are not radical ideas. The only reason people think that they are radical is because they are comfortable. They're okay with the way things are. They've never had to experience the oppression, so they don't feel the need to overthrow the oppressors. Right? And if they are opposing our fight, what does that say about the America that they want? If I'm advocating for the unhoused community and you're mad at me for pushing an agenda, you don't think that unhoused people should have shelter? Right? All of these oppositions to our stances just show that these people want a terrible America that they have come to love and only serves them. Say that. So, hold on, I lost my spot. So calling it a radical idea when it's not radical takes me back to the history of this country when abolishing slavery was claimed a radical idea. Right? To decide whether or not people should own other people, that was considered a radical idea at one point in this country. Allowing black people to vote was a radical idea in this country. Allowing women to vote was a radical idea in this country. So it's not It's not that these things are radical. It's just that they're changing the way that this country works, and people don't like it because it already works for them. And when I say abolishing slavery was a radical idea, they were calling for the abolition of slavery. They weren't asking for slavery reform, right? So, exactly, exactly. So we have to look at what happened. Did we get slavery abolition or did we get slavery reform? Because the prison industrial complex is just reformed slavery. That's all it is. And for us to fight against that, when I say defund the police, when I say abolish the police, I'm still saying abolish slavery because we didn't get the job done the first time. If you read the wording of the 13th Amendment, it's clear that the system that we have in place is just a continuation of slavery. And so I'm going to be out here fighting every chance that I can get. And I was talking with some people the other day. Every day on this fight can be very discouraging, right? We fight every day and we get very little change in return. And I find myself needing to tell myself that it's naive of me to think that I'm going to see the results of my fight. In my lifetime, am I going to see us win this fight? It's naive of me to think for all of these years of fighting, all of the people that came before me and died before they saw any change, it's naive of me to think that before I leave, we will have won the fight. So that can be discouraging, but all I'm saying is we still need to fight because it's worth it. If people gave up and stopped fighting because they wouldn't see the change that they were fighting for, we would be further back and further back. So I challenge all of you to continue fighting, regardless of the lack of change, regardless of anything that we see come from it. We need to stick together and continue fighting because it is the right thing to do. I smell bitches. I smell bitches. ACAB. ACAB. And last thing, when it comes to that chant, right? All cops are bastards. You really have to look into that because people want to say, well, they're good cops. They're good people. Okay. Policing is a bastardized institution. If you need an example, if you sign up to be a park police officer, you may be a good person. You may have a good heart. You may have good intentions. But the day your boss tells you to go to an unhoused tent encampment, take all of their things, evict them, and throw all of their things in a dumpster, you're no longer a good person. If you think you're a good person and you can do that for your day job, what made you a terrible person? Your fucking day job. So when we say all cops are bastards, that's what we mean. Putting on that uniform has turned you into a terrible person. So we need to take it off and redo the whole system. Appreciate you.